because you can actually, where is it? See my pink megaphone there for my upcoming wedding. And I didn't realize it was going to be in the shot, but we're just going to go with it because I think it's kind of funny. My colors for the wedding are pink, but moving right along, I wanted to have a bit of a conversation today, just like a little bit of a conversation for our transformational tidbits, talking a little bit about friendships and relationships and what tends to happen as you go through a kind of a transformative journey, whether it's through therapy or coaching or whatever the case may be, or just simply on your own. Like, as human beings, we're constantly evolving. Constantly. It is unlikely that you are going to stay the same for many years of your life. You're consistently shifting, you're consistently evolving. And when you start to trickle in and bring in personal development into that, you are inevitably going to have friendships and relationships that change. And that can feel really scary to a lot of people. And for some of us, it may have you avoiding doing this personal growth work because you're afraid of who might leave or who might no longer be in your social circle. And there's a lot of fear there because you come accustomed to the friendships and the social circle and the people in your life. And even though you know, okay, maybe this person might not be good for me, or they might not have my highest and best in mind, there's a comfort there in knowing that they're part of your life and they're part of your circle. So the thought of thinking, oh, maybe they'll leave if I start to work on myself, or I start to shift into this higher vibration or who I'm meant to be, and I begin to break up a supposed to culture and I become more authentic, like, are they going to leave? And if you struggle with having a more anxious attachment style, meaning you're always worried about rejection and people leaving, this can feel very, very scary. But what I do want to say here, and this is the point, as you shift and evolve, you become more of a badass, okay? You become closer to who you were meant to be, who you are here to become on a soul level. And there are going to be those individuals in your life that were benefiting from you playing small, from you having loose boundaries, from you not speaking up for yourself. And those individuals are obviously naturally going to fall off as you begin to, shift into this person you were always meant to be, because now you're no longer willing to take any more crap. You're standing up for yourself. You're setting those boundaries. You understand your worth and your value. And when you're no longer willing to play by their rules or play their game or allow them to step all over you, they are inevitably going to be like, peace, I'm out of here, you've changed. And there could be actually an element of gaslighting that happens at this point where they're like, I don't know what happened to you, you're not the person you once were, like, you used to be so close, you used to be such a good friend of mine, and now you're so different, like, I don't understand what happened to you. And they make it seem like you're to blame for the falling apart of their relationship, when in actual fact what's happened here is because you are more authentic, these friendships are no longer in alignment with who you are today and now. And there's grief that comes along with that, and it's okay to grieve the loss of these friendships. It's okay to grieve what once was, and it's okay to reflect on those relationships and ask yourself, what did this teach me? Because certain relationships are here for just a little while. Certain relationships are just here for a season, some are for a lifetime. But the ones that are just here for a season, keep in mind that there's something to be learned from those relationships. And this is the case too, perhaps, in being in a more toxic relationship. You understand, like, this is not what I want, and you learn that this is a deal breaker for me. And as I move forward and I gain new connections and I make new relationships, and I'm talking like personal, familial, and intimate, you begin to understand, like, this is something I don't want. And it makes it easier for you to make a list of deal breakers. And I have my clients do this quite often, where I'll tell them, like, I want you to make a list of what you bring to the table in relationships, all the great, amazing things about you, what your deal breakers are, meaning the things that you are not willing to accept, which will help you to establish clear and concise boundaries. And the third one being, what kinds of relationships and friendships do you want? What do you want those people? What's important for you in terms of them? Like, what do you want them to value? What do you want them to have important in their life? Like, is reciprocity really important to you, where you feel like there's an even back and forth where you share and then they share? Like, what are those important things? What do those friendships look like for you? And once you have that established, especially as you're kind of going through this process and you're beginning to, ask yourself questions, especially if you feel like you're in a pattern of like really, like toxic or abusive relationships in your life, asking yourself those questions, like, what is it that I really want? And what am I no longer willing to accept? And as you begin to step into that and become closer to that, and that becomes more in alignment with who you are and who you're meant to be, you will see very quickly that people will fall off and people won't want to keep in touch with you. Or on the other hand, maybe you realize, okay, I put in a lot of effort into this relationship and it's not feeling reciprocal, and I don't feel like I have the capacity to maintain this friendship anymore. And that's okay too. This is bound to happen, and it's a natural part of your progression. And it's okay to feel sad about that. It's okay to mourn the loss of these relationships. Or perhaps they start to they start to evolve too, and they just become a little bit different. Whatever the case may be, don't allow the fear of the loss of relationships to stand in your way of having what is in your highest and best, or standing up and saying, I'm ready to work on myself. Don't let that prevent you from reaching that point. Don't let that prevent you to where you get to the point of enough is enough, and it's a must do. Allow it to be a natural part of your progression and your growth and development, and understand and prepare yourself for that. The people that are meant to sit at your table, that are meant to be in your life long term, forever and ever, they're going to be happy that you're on this journey. They're going to want what's best for you. They're going to support you, and they're never going to tell you you've changed and make it seem like it's a bad thing. They may say you've changed, and it's so nice to see you feeling better and embracing who you are and becoming more authentic and leaning into your empathetic side and seeing it as your superpower and all this stuff. That's the people that are meant to be in your life are going to offer that type of support. They aren't going to make you feel like the bad guy or the villain in your own scenario, in your own story. So I just wanted to make a comment about that, and so you understand why that happens, because you are becoming more aligned with who you are meant to be. And as you do that, all those individuals that are not in that alignment are going to either naturally fall off, or you're going to realize, wait, these aren't the people I want in my life, and I need to cut ties. Or you'll just naturally grow apart, and it might not even be some breakup or some discontinuation of the relationship. It may just be unspoken, and you go your way and they go their way, and that's okay too. But sometimes you got to give yourself some space to mourn, to be prepared for it, and know that even though some of these relationships might be falling off, it makes room and space for new relationships that are going to be more fulfilling, that are going to be more reciprocal, and are going to feel really, really amazing to you. And you're going to feel it in your bones, in your body, and all that good stuff. So just a little food for thought there. If you have any questions for me in terms of what this looks like and what this process looks like, or you're worried about it, please always send me a message or leave a comment below, and I would be happy to discuss it with you. But with that, I'm going to go about my day, and I hope you have a good one. See you soon.